What up, YouTube? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Tony Harvin Network. I greet everybody upon this evening. Y'all know my disclaimer. I'm not a pastor, preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church, so please do not lay claims of those titles on me. I'm not here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement, or any type of privacy guidelines at all. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody who's going to join us live now in the middle, and those who are going to catch it when it uploads to YouTube. What's up with Jonah? Shout out to you. This topic is on how can a Christian, how can somebody who is striving for the Lord survive in jail or prison? You know what I mean? That's our conversation for today. You know what I mean? We're looking to have a wonderful conversation, and do remember to please read the pinned message at the top. It's very important. That is very important. You know what I mean? What's up to Shelly House? Shout out to you, Jonah. You says don't get close to no one. Keep to yourself. Stay in prayer and in the Holy Scriptures. Jonah wrote. Interesting. We know that in jail and in prison situations can happen. You know what I mean? What would be your advice if somebody is going through a situation like somebody picking on them or whatever the case may be, trying to start a fight? You know, because in some prisons they may classify that as gladiator school. You know what I mean? Because if you're in population, you know, something can be bound to happen at any given time. You know? All right? Shelly House says the only way to survive in jail would be God, prayer, and spreading God's love. Interesting. And for those who've been in jail or prison, feel free to give your advice, or whatever the case may be. Because I know prison ain't peaches and cream. It ain't a place you walk in and there's roses and rose petals on the ground and good food and stuff like that. You got a bunch of angry people there. Some people don't even care about themselves. So what makes you think they don't care about your life? Now, a person who's striving for the Lord, they may not do anything to go to prison at that moment. They may not do anything at that moment to go to jail, or whatever the case may be. But there's a lot of people out there who may have forgotten that they got warrants from the past. Certain states, speeding is considered as reckless driving, felony misdemeanor, or something like that. I know that's out here in North Carolina. And if you happen to make a mistake like that, you might go to jail. You understand? You said you got to pray daily. Your mental health suffers the most. Understandable. I understand everybody saying pray and things like that. But you're around a hostile environment. You know what I mean? You're around a hostile environment, especially if you're in population. You can pray, you can read your Bible, you can spread God's love, but there's going to be people in there. They don't care about that. You know what I mean? They don't care about that. You know? So you got to go every day wondering for the safety of your life and possibly get into a fight almost every day, physically. You know what I mean? Not only with the people there, but also with the guards. You know? All right, what's up to Christopher Span? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to the Yoki? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. DeAndre says, hit the weights and hit more weights. We said hit the weights. Exercising. I mean, that's a good therapeutic way. You understand? For a person to do their time in prison, or whatever the case may be. But it's still more time left. You got to understand, a person who's striving for the Lord. You know what I mean? Brandon Briggs says, I'm at peace with never seeing the inside of one of them places, God willing. For sure. Understandable. But mistakes can happen. As far as like wrong identity, you may have a ignorant police officer. Some of us may have like an old ticket that we done forgot. we were 17 or 18. You know what I mean? So let me know. Theoki says, stay locked in. Stay locked in? Wow. Well, some people do opt to do protective custody. What is that, like 23 hours in their cell or something like that? And then 1 hour of rec? Some people can do that. You know what I mean? Would you think like doing 23 hours, like just right there in a small room? Would your mentals be okay? What's up to Simple Me? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Be Holy? Shout out to you. He says, greetings. Jonas says, don't go out. Excuse me. Simple Me says, in that place is not easy, I can say. Then Jonas says, don't go out to the yard if you are scared. The yard. The yard. What's up to Suzanne Miller? Shout out to you. Let Your Light Show Shine says, stay to yourself and stay in the Word of God. Keep the peace. Listen, we talking about prison. You know what I mean? Somebody could bump you in the line doing chow. They bump you in the line. You're trying to get on the phone. They cut you on the line. There's a lot of things that people can do to you. Or if you go to prison, I'm pretty sure some people know, there may be some prison rules that you don't even know about. You go in there and you do something that you don't know is a prison rule, and one of the inmates approach you. What you gonna do? You understand? What you gonna do? You know what I mean? All right. What's up to Donald Sanders? Shout out to you. Jonas says bird bath in the cell. A bird bath. Wow. Now, that's another thing. You striving for the Lord, you gotta shower with a bunch of people. What you gonna do? Huh? What you gonna do? What you gonna do in prison? You gotta shower with a bunch of people. You know what I mean? At the same time. What you gonna do? You gotta share a toilet bowl with somebody. You know what I mean? Christopher Span says, pray fast, read your word, go to the service if the service are preaching holiness, and stay out the way. Staying away from gambling. Oh, they got gambling in prison? You said stay away from rap battles. Rap battles? Rap battles in prison. You said stay away from sports, all of which will cause a fight or unwanted attention. Okay, I get it now. What's up to Charlie Johnson? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Let Your Light Shine says, I agree to stay locked up. Well, I don't know if anybody could operate mentally for 23 hours locked down. Some people like to be out in the population, doing things as far as like going to chow, having longer rec, watching the TVs out there, you know, socializing. Not saying getting in everybody's business or whatever the case may be, but just being out. But if some people, you know, want to do 2 hours in one room and 1 hour of rec, hey, that's fine. All right? What's up to Anthony Nelson? Shout out to you. Jonas says, keep your when you go to chow. You said they would try to buy it. That's crazy. Theoki says, you still have to stay on the Lord's side. Understandable. What's up to Cynthia Davenport? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Jonas says, don't buy commissary from the inmate stores. The inmate stores, what they got? Oodles and noodles, Snickers, Skittles, tuna fish, you know, sardines, peanut butter, toothpaste, you know? Don't buy commissary from the inmate stores. The Yoki says you can't change your religion or turn into a Skittle for safety. Wow, good point. Good point right there. A lot of fellas go into prison and they turn Muslim. A lot of folks, a lot of fellas turn Muslim in prison. Why? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know why a lot of people, well, that I know of or from the environment I'm from, they go in and now they want to turn Muslim. All of a sudden. For what? You know? And that skittling stuff. Wow. Skittling. Man get a 3-year prison sentence. What he gonna do? He will hope he be married and his wife, you know, she stand by him. You know what I mean? Super Cool says, what's up? Be careful who try to befriend you. Good one. You're right. All right. B. Holder said, jury duty, I was required to do it. However, my supervisors helped me not to do it. I think you're talking about the other topic from the other day, from earlier at B. Holy. That was the topic from earlier. You know? Robert Tucker says, God bless everyone. It's good we have this Christian channel to talk about Christians who are in prison right now. All right? B. Holder says, we have to obey magistrates. Anthony says, well, if you know that you're about to get a couple of years, make sure your money right. Don't go in there begging because you will be asking for trouble. Wow. Wow. You know what I mean? Christopher Span says, now if you're going to go to the yard or work out, know your routine, meaning do your dips, chin-ups, push-ups, jog, jumping jacks, hop. You says, but know your routine. If you break routine, you might become someone else's routine. And their problems become your problems. And best believe sooner or later, you're the bigger problem. Wow. Jonas said there was a guy in there that they called Milk and Cookies because he did for milk and cookies, if you know what I'm saying. Wow. Milk and Cookies. That name almost sounds worse than Fleece Johnson. You know what I mean? I'm not saying Fleece Johnson is a Christian, but a grown man named Milk and Cookies? Wow. What's up? B. Holy says, oh man, I'm late. It's all good. You know, you forgive it. It's all good. Dawn says, good evening. Glad to be here at work. I'll be in the background listening. Appreciate that. What's up to Giddy? Shout out to you. Jonah wrote Hebrews 13:3. Miss Joyce said, why is the Christian in prison? Well, I explained that already. It could be anybody in holiness or striving for the Lord. You don't know if you have an old ticket from the past that you did not pay. You don't know that. Some people get pulled over and found out they got a warrant back when they was 18 years old and forgot about it. You know what I mean? Some people fall asleep at the wheel. You know? You said the apostles were in prison. Well, they had a mission. That's why. We talking about people who may have warrants and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They had a mission. You understand? You got that old ticket from the past. That ain't no mission. That's a mistake you done made. You forgot about. There's a big difference. Some people fall asleep at the wheel, cause a car crash, and they get blamed for it. Get 5 years in prison. You understand you're sorry, whatever the case may be, but you're still getting 5 years. It's all good. That script search, you're forgiven. You know what I mean? Or some people may make a mistake. They may get in a fight or something like that, punch somebody, person hit their head and get unalived. They didn't mean it. You understand? You might be in a heated confrontation with somebody. You know what I mean? You might bump them. Person catch a heart attack and you get blamed for it. You understand? Or we was talking about jury duty earlier. Or if a police officer put a ticket on your car or one of those parking service people, the ticket fly off. Tickets keep flying off every time you get a ticket. You don't even know. You know what I mean? All right. The Yoki says Allah can put you behind bars. It's that simple. Jonah says, or falsely convicted. You're right. You're right about that. You know? Or somebody may have did a crime in the past. They may have did a crime in the past. Now we know technology is more advanced, and it may catch up to the person striving for the Lord. And they may get 10 years in prison for that crime. You know? All right? Super Cool says you better know how to throw hands. Some of the inmates be in with other inmates that have their way with them. Wow. Miss Joyce says, I would try to escape if I was in prison. What? You try to escape from prison and get more time? Oh, man. You'll get more time in prison for that. Anthony Nelson says, and make sure you can get minimal custody close to Charlotte. They have better camps. She says Charlotte. Let your light so shine says, sign up for extra educational classes to keep you busy and away from others. That's a good point. You know, do things like that. Some people like to cut hair, you know, like I do. Cut hair or exercise and stuff like that. Go to the law library and things like that. I would do stuff like that for sure. Christopher Span says, get into many programs you can, meaning work release and side vocational programs if you have good time on your sentence. Get into those programs. The programs not only keep you out of trouble, but takes time of your sentence and times go but so quick. Wonderful. All right. Jonah says, when the alarm goes off and you are on the yard, drop to the ground. What's up to Robin Harris? Shout out to you. B. Holder says, escape is automatic 5 years. 5 years extra. Just think about it. Somebody get like a 1 year prison sentence and they try to escape. Wow. 5 years extra. Christopher says, an old man once, you said once to me, when those, I guess you meant told, I once meant told you, when the doors close, all the guns and tough guys checks at the door, it's go time. Miss George says, I wouldn't know what else to do. Well, things happen. Aaron Michael says, when you locked up, you just have to carry yourself with respect or stay in solitary confinement and read books all day. Solitary confinement. Who would recommend that? To be in solitary confinement all day? You know what I mean? Is that a safe zone for somebody striving for the Lord? Could that help? Would your mentals be all together after the fact? All right, the Yoki says a loyal woman helps too. Some women are loyal to a man that's never going home. Well, man, that's rough. That's rough. You know, a man get life in prison, and you know he happened to have turned his life around before or after, whatever the case may be. That woman got to ride for him. And there's women out there that, you know, they will ride for their man in prison. You know what I mean? That's ain't that some loyalty right there? All right. Be holy say give you 24 hours to come back, but you will get those 5 years. He said he give you 24 hours to come back. What's up, the Drago? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Miss Joyce says 23 hours and solitary confinement. I think, I'm not too sure. Or you get 1 hour rec. Somebody help me out there. All right. B Holder says, what is that? Solitary is not going to help. People saying that. Go to your bathroom for a day and see if you will like it for 20 years. Wow. That's some deep stuff right there. That's how small solitary confinement is? As a bathroom? What do you get in solitary confinement? Do you get a blanket? Is there a bed in solitary confinement? What type of food you get? You know? Solitary confinement. What's up to Summer Gabriel? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Jonah said, you don't know how many guys I heard in prison that had their woman turn on them quick. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. You know, a man in prison and his wife leave him. Jonah says, I was in solitary confinement for 3 days and Wow. B Holder says, it's punishment, Tony. Well, that's crazy. Miss Joy says, I do feel bad for innocent people that's locked up. Well, there's going to be a lot of people in prison that say they're innocent. Although some people may be innocent. Maybe. There's some people on the outside who committed crimes that's walking scot-free. You know what I mean? What's up to GV? Shout out to you. Anthony Nelson says, remember, if you go to prison, the most you can make on a job is $1 an hour. So go ahead and make up your mind if you want to do right or wrong. You mentioned I'm 57 and have been locked up most of my life. Wow. $1 an hour. Imagine that. Making $1 an hour. You know what I mean? I made more than that when I was 16. Some of us made more than that. We was 9 years old, 10 years old, shoveling snow in the hood. Or sweeping up hair in the barbershop as a kid. All right? Jonah says, I had a thin mat and no blanket, but a turtle suit. What's a turtle suit? I never heard of that. Let me look that up right quick. A turtle suit. Let me see. Oh, they gave an actual Ninja Turtle suit. Oh, okay, I see. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy, Jonah. You said did 3.5 years in prison. B. Holder says free labor. Free labor. Shelly House says, do they let the men still lift weights in jail? Oh, yeah. You know, I tend to watch the documentaries. I see the weightlifting. I see basketball. Some prisons have like boxing programs. Some. What else they got? I think I see baseball. All right. Dioki says, some men don't want to work on the outside but fight for a 50-cent per hour job. Miss George said they got Facebook in jail. Oh yeah. I've heard people using like, you know, tablets and utilizing their social media right from jail and prison. B. Holder says it's for suicidal people. Wow. Um, Christopher Span said, try not to catch a ticket while you're in. If you have a long sentence but have good time, those tickets cause you not receiving parole or release program. Drago says they removed it in Cali prison. Shelly House says, I heard R. Kelly giving concerts at different prisons. Jonah says, I hung myself looking at 10 years, lost everything, and then my woman came to tell me she cheated on me. I went back to my cell and hung myself, barely survived. Wow. Wow. That's tough, but, it's a blessing that, you're still here. And also to give your testimonies and advice to those out there. You know what I mean? All right? So that's some deep stuff right there. Especially for those who have experienced this and whatnot. All right, Summer Gabriel says, I was a sergeant in the Texas prison, and I have witnessed many men state that the majority of their friends and family have left, but they have many volunteers come worship with them. Yeah, that's another thing. As what Jonah mentioned and others, when you go to prison, even if you're innocent, you could be an innocent person, and people will leave your family, spouse, friends. They don't know you no more. You know what I mean? And granted that, a person could be innocent and whatnot, but that just sounds like a dark place. Very, very dark place mentally, emotionally, and can, merge over to spiritually. Shelley House says they use cell phones and computers and scammer people from jail. You said scammer? Anthony Nelson says, I'm good now, got baptized in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and I work for a bail bondsman. No more prison. You will get tired of yourself if you are living wrong. Wow, that's what's up, man, that, you got baptized in Rocky Mount and whatnot, and you're doing much better, man. That's a blessing. For sure, good to have you on here at Anthony Nelson, possibly. You come on here and give your testimony, And we would love to hear testimonies of the people. And I think Gino had a group one time years ago when they came to the church in Philadelphia, and they gave their testimonies about being in prison. Aaron Michael says, you have a lot of idiots in jail, and I don't want to be there with Bubba and Tyrone. I mean, yeah, you got a lot of bad people in there. You got a lot of idiots. You just got a lot of that type of stuff in there, and whatnot. We got to hope and pray that, nothing happens, that we end up in there. All right? Jonah says armed robbery. Oh, wow. Armed robbery. I'm trying to find a video right quick of that. Let me see where we at. But a lot of people out there who went to prison or who have went to prison or whatever the case may be. You said, am I Mexican? No, I'm not Mexican. What's up, Natasha? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Hey, Robert. No, I'm not Mexican. What kind of question was that? Christopher Span says, if you are known as gangbanger, it's hard for you to get a good work program because you might have someone on your card that you rival with. Your classification might be a higher threat, which means you can't get on a unit where you receive good time points. Wow. That's crazy. The Yoki says the bulk of the stress is the wife and girlfriend on the outside. Some of the guys attempt suicide. You said the wife and the girlfriend. The wife and the girlfriend on the outside. Wow. And you know, like Jonah mentioned, and other people mentioned that even women who go to prison, you know, they fella may leave them. You know what I mean? Where we at? Miss Joy says, I'm learning a lot tonight. What up with G Money? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Summer Gabriel says, I have witnessed both wife and girlfriend coming to visit on the same day. A mess. Wow. Wife and girlfriend on the same day? Wow. Now that's crazy. That's a crazy situation right there. Jonah says, while being in prison, in my mind, I had to literally say to everyone, I knew I was dead already. Wow. Yeah, that's just a mental. That sound like for a lot of people, it may have like a mental meltdown, man. You know, and I don't even want to imagine that at all, especially with that solitary confinement thing. You know what I mean? Being in the area of, you know, like a bathroom, whatever the case may be.
Thank you for coming, brother. I want you to get a chance to introduce yourself as well. This is the microphone that was on the stand. Please, let's turn them up. Come on, brother.
I'm going to use this one.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Thank you for being here.
My name is Vincent Beckton, and I was convicted of murder at 16. I was sentenced to life in prison, meaning that I was supposed to stay in there and never go home again. Never get to share dinner with my family or take a nice bath or shower longer than 15 minutes without had to endure in there. I'm not making no excuses or nothing like that. It's not like I was a goody two-shoes. I come from a good mom and pop. My father was working for Conrail and the train at that time, and my mother used to work at Whitman's Candy Factory, and they owned a variety store. So I came from a good background. But I'm going to say to all you youth out there, and excuse me, ladies, I was up against the biggest horde that it is, the streets, which is always open for anybody. They never turn their back. They is always open for you to come into the streets. But the reality of the fact is, you really don't know what you're going to encounter. You really don't know. You might think you know, but you really don't know.
Well said.
You really don't know. Because at that time, when I was sentenced, I didn't know what I was sentenced to. I knew I had a lot of time to do, but I didn't know that they sentenced me to never come home again, to never have dinner with my family or walk the streets or just having a nice cup of cold glass of water with some ice cubes. Something that we take for granted because something that we do every day. Like I said, and when I was sentenced, one of the hardest things I had to do, I'll never forget, I was at Holmesburg Prison, which they closed down now. They have CFCF, which they had in place of Holmesburg. And my parents came to see me, and one of the hardest things I had to do is tell my mother and father, tell my parents that it was nothing that they could have done to stop me from what I was embarking on, being disobedient to my parents, not listening to them, not wanting to come home and take my school clothes off and be in when the street lights turn dark. Wanting to be adult, so I thought. Didn't have no clue. But anyway, when my parents came to see me at Holmesville Prison, I had to tell my mom and pop, it's nothing that you could have done or said to save me, because you gave me the best. You gave me the best that what a parents can do. And I had to explain to them that they was going up against the street.
Says I did 18 months, got out, was out for what is that, six months? I guess you meant. You says, and I was shot only to do 2 in a day. You says, if you know, you know. Summer Gabriel says, whomever comes first, visit. Imagine that. A wife and a girlfriend come to visit. The girlfriend come first, for example, and then the wife come later. And they turn her away like, why? Well, he had another woman come here. You know what I mean? You're right. That is a mess. Miss Joyce said, those women look scary and a little off. Anthony Nelson says, one of the most disturbing things you may hear in prison is grown men cry at night in their beds, because most of them know they are never going to get out or have so much time. Wow. That's crazy right there. Miss Joyce says, I saw a prison movie called The Platform. It scared me for life. Aaron Michael says, I would unalive myself before I would go to prison. I'm a boss, no cell, but the graveyard. Well, that's on you. You know what I mean? At least the people who are alive in prison, at least they have a chance to get right with the Lord. They have a chance. They still breathing. I wouldn't even put that in the atmosphere. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't put what you said, Aaron Michaels, as far as like you would unalive yourself before you go to prison. You might have you might have a ticket from the past that may have some warrants on it you don't even know about. You know what I mean? So you don't know what can happen. But I wouldn't even put that in the atmosphere that I would unalive myself. No way. You know? All right? G Money. He says, I think if you try not to come off acting like you are too hard or over soft and come in with a neutral demeanor, then the prisoners may respect you more, or your time will be easier being served. For sure. Yoki says the female inmates barely gets visits. It's harder for them. Wow. What's up to Paulette? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Herb Wise? Shout out to you. Peace, peace, peace. As we have this conversation and whatnot.
They didn't have no clue. They was once young, my age, but they didn't have no clue. And like I said, you know, for a lot of y'all out there, you know, the streets will accept you. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you say. They all. But you will come to understand that the penitentiary, which is jail, state penitentiary, is never closed. They will close a school down before they will close the penitentiary down.
That's right.
They will close a school down.
Ain't that the truth?
Just something. I get it, but no, that's not how it go. That's not how it go. They saying at that time I was worth nothing. And then for 35 years, I was incarcerated. For 35 years, at the age of 16, I was making my grave up, which I call my bed, every day, proudly. Not realizing like, dag, then my mother became sick with breast cancer, and of course, you know, your parents and when your family come visit you in there, they want you to think everything is good. But everything is not good. You know, I mean, they try to and tell you everything is good, and they ask you how's you going.
Well, let me go back to the comments right quick. Jonah says, people like me because I was called dancer. I practiced a dance called Melbourne Shuffle to hardstyle music for hours on end. New people would come in and they would say, what's he doing? He said they would say, don't worry about him. He's just dancing. Melbourne Shuffle. Never heard of that one. I think you mentioned that before, but in general, coming up, I never heard of that one. Must have been very therapeutic for you, huh? At Jonah.
But the reality of fact, you're not doing well in there. You're not doing well in there. You try to explain to them as best you can at 16 or 17 years old, oh, I'm doing all right, everything all right. But everything's not all right. Realistically, everything is not all right. But I will say this, you know, to all the youth out there, them streets is not what you think it is, man. And unfortunately, you don't realize it until you pay the price. You know, until you pay the price of realizing like, wow, I'm never going home. You know, me and Vincent Boyd, guy right here, me and him was cellies for about 14 years together in a box. 14 years together. Me and him having the door, smelling each other, urine, feces, and all that. You know, that was my cellie. We grew up together. We was brothers for real. We grew up together. Sentenced to Huntington. It's located in central Pennsylvania. And in rural central Pennsylvania. And when we were sentenced at, our cells at the time was right across the street. From a regular family house, we could look and see the lieutenant come out and walk his dog, and see them wash the car. All the things we hope like, dang, man, I wonder what that feel like to wash the car again. I wonder what that feel like to walk across the street again. We endured that and dealt with that for the most part. But when my mother became sick with breast cancer, and my family, of course, they didn't want to tell me.
It's a deep testimony. All right, Dioki says the people that decide your faith and future, they are all friends and drinking buddies. The system is unfair. Christopher Span says, one of the shocking things I experienced is hitting new man. You says, and you see your peers, and the first thing they say is, good to see you. Imagine your freedom gone, and your peers say, good to see you. Wow. Miss Joyce says, having someone to tell you when to eat and shower has to feel degrading. Absolutely. Absolutely. And to shower with other people. To shower with other people? Man, that sounds... You know, women shower with other women, especially you're a striving Christian, you're a Christian. You're in holiness. What you gonna do, shower with your clothes on? You know? It's crazy. All right, Jonah says the new generation doesn't understand how things used to be done. It was all about style and hard dance music back in 2011. Anthony Nelson says, remember, you don't have to physically go to prison to be locked up. You can mentally be locked up in your mind. Sometimes we really have to check ourselves. Drago says, I appreciate that, Drago. Appreciate that. G Money says, I think staying in the Word and spreading the Word of God and having church will keep you at peace. And some of the prisoners who you are around, people respect the word of God, and that keeps them sane. Okay? What's up to Rashida? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Shaw Nix? Miss Joyce says, can you learn a trade in prison? I believe so. I believe so. You know, I think so. Those out there, I think Christopher Spann and Jonah and Anthony Nelson can tell you about that. Learning trades, and people get their GEDs. Some people get their college degrees in prison. Right in prison, get their college degree. What's up to Acts 2:38? You said you have to grow up and want a better life for yourself. I've been there. You have to want better plain. You said you have to want better plain and simple. I agree. There's folks in and out of prison. You know, they love taking penitentiary chances. Even those who's trying to strive for Christ, they have struggles. All right, Tasha said, how often does the church visit the prison? Well, that I don't know. I don't know that. But I have heard Gino speak about going to the prisons and talking and preaching there and whatnot. I would hope one day they broadcast from a prison. I would hope one day they will allow some recording. I would be surprised if Brother Dan got some of that footage that he ain't put out yet. Or Ron Skoleski, the cameraman. They'll hold a service right from a prison. And baptizing them inmates. That'd be a wonderful thing. You know, I see on my right-hand side on YouTube, there's a false prophet right now talking about Gino. I don't have anything else to talk about besides spewing out hate. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say the false prophet name. I mean, it's right on my right-hand side of me watching the video. That's sick. You know what I mean? Real sick. All right? What's up to Tyree Lewis? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Summer Gabriel says, you can at the Texan prisons. Miss Joyce says, I've never been in a prison, but I used to watch Scared Straight. Me too. Me too. Used to watch Scared Straight. Let me see if we can find one. Hopefully this doesn't strike a copyright. And excuse the foul language in here. Let me see which one we can get. I hope if this strikes a copyright notice, I'm gonna have to take the part out. Let me see. So this is Scared Straight. This is from Rawway Prison in New Jersey. Now this fella right here, let me see. So this is Scared Straight 99. Scared Straight 99. I'm only gonna play a little bit. That's it. Now this fella right here, he looked familiar, like I seen him around Jersey before. So this is from Rawway Prison, which is in Rawway, New Jersey, next to Carteret, New Jersey.
Every goddamn day, man, we gotta and talk to a bunch of damn kids acting like they don't know what the fuck's going on.
You talking about this?
This is my motherfucking job now to get up here and try to come to your motherfucking ass. And all you gotta do is listen to what we gonna give you, man. That's what you gotta do. Stop all that bullshit and try to be something in your goddamn life. But stop a motherfucker like me.
He cursed too much. That fella cursed a lot. Man, every other word is a curse. My goodness. But I understand the whole process of what he's trying to do. So this is Scared Straight 99 from the show MTV. They had a program out there in New Jersey with a parole officer. I forgot her name. She used to hold these programs, and I guess MTV picked it up for the kids out there in New Jersey to take them to the prisons, mainly Broadway prison, and to have the prisoners talk to them. You know what I mean? So that's where the Scared Straight came from. You know, on MTV. All right? I ain't gonna play no more of this because this fella cursed a whole lot. All right, what's up, the Corner B? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. All right. Jonah says, so a lot of people go to the drug unit to get good time and get out faster, just to hear they overdose when they got out. What's up to David B? Said these fools can't keep PJ out of their mouths. Yeah, you're right. Dioki says some are institutionalized. They keep coming back over and over. They can't function on the outside. Jonah says, I was in prison with one of my ex-drug dealing neighbors, and he went to the drug unit and got out sooner, and later he overdosed on heroin. Wow. Miss Joyce says, how in the world do they get drugs in the prisons? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. If you listen to certain documentaries and former correctional officers, or what they call them, detention officers, New Jersey correction officers are classified as police officers. And I don't know about other places, but I do know they call New Jersey police officers. They classified as police officers. Other places, detention officers. Dumb folks help to get it in. You know, it's a small world. You become a CO, you know somebody in there. It's a high chance, especially if you're from the hood. You're going to come across somebody in there that you probably went to school with, that you probably grew up with, or even hung out with, and still hanging out with. You know what I mean? So that was one of the things I wanted to do. Become a correctional officer. You know what I mean? But, you know, the Lord has other plans. Because I feel as though I can, talk to those fellas. You know what I mean? I'm not going to downgrade them. Of course, I'm going to defend myself when necessary. But for the most part, habilitation. Sometimes you could talk to the prisoners. Not a lot of these criminals, they downgrade them. They physically beat them. XYZ. I wouldn't do none of that. Of course, it still crosses my mind to get into. It still crosses my mind. But you never know. You know what I mean? You never know. Christmas Parent says, when you're sentenced, you wait in a cold, big room with other inmates waiting for you to be sent to new man. You says, when the CO is ready for you, they take you to a room with a bunch of men. Then they make you get in front of all the men. They make you lift your, spread your, squat, and then cough, lift your feet and open your mouth and lift your tongue. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That's violation to the fullest extent. Wow. Rashida says, I think they have programs for inmates, and I know they help with dogs, animals as well in prisons. Man. Tasha says, I remember them talking on a show about tossing salad. I don't even want to talk about that. That's just disgusting. That the stuff that goes on in certain prisons. Different names. You know what I mean? That's just disgusting. You know? All right? Drago said this generation will laugh on Scared Straight. Well, the Scared Straight that was coming out in these days, is at like normal jails. And we know jail and prison is different. I think they had Beyond Scared Straight at Hudson County Correctional Facility, which is in Kearney, New Jersey. You know what I mean? And it was the jails are more. It seemed to be a little bit more lax than prison. See, the Scared Straight from '99 and '78 and stuff like that. That's in Rawway Prison. Rawway Prison was like another Rikers. You know what I mean? But in New Jersey. And I think Rikers is not a prison, but Rikers is just as worse as prison. You know what I mean? I've never heard of a jail just as worse as a prison, like Rikers. You know what I mean? Herb Watts says facts, the lifestyle is out there. G Money says you can learn a trade and can become educated, like T said. However, it's important to stay close to God, because without him being your higher source, you could easily go insane. Also meditate often. For sure. You know, get a trade. You know what I mean? It's there for you. Especially if you have, of course, there's not much family support with many of them, but especially if you got family support. What's up to Corner B? Shout out to you. What's up to Sister Davis? Hope all is well. Jonas says, I found someone unalive in prison too. We were playing checkers the day before too. Wow. B. Oda said, that's right. Some learn and some get worse. Sister Davis says, you survive with much prayer for real. And if you don't have it already, develop thick skin. Miss Joy says, I think that was a great program. Scared Straight? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wonder why they stopped going to Rawway. You know, they go to the jails now in Jersey. You know what I mean? Take them bad kids to Rawway. Or take them to Rikers. Take them to Rikers. Or sometimes they don't have to be bad kids. Sometimes parents just want a child to experience that just because. You know? Anthony Nelson says, yes, depending on your crime and minimum custody, you can even physically go to college, but you have to be a person that can really, I guess, be trusted, and someone can even come to get you to go to church. Wonderful. Wonderful. You know? Utilize that time wisely. Appreciate that. I heard wise. What's up to Lady Glitter? All right. Summer Gabriel says the guards and civilian staff. Wow. Bring in that type of stuff. Contraband and drugs and smuggling certain things that they ain't supposed to be. Some correctional officers, you know, they mate with the inmates. They mate with them. All right? Let me see where we at. I lost my train of thought. Where we was at? You said do it, Tony, because of CO. Well, the only thing I don't like about the position is that when you're working as a CO, listen, I need my communication on me. If I'm dealing with YouTube and stuff like that, I need to work and edit certain things out. I'm going to be cut off from all that stuff for 12 hours. 4 days. I think it's 4 days on, and it's 12-hour shifts. You know what I mean? So that's another tough thing. You know? All right, B. Holder says some correctional officers are built for the job, some are not. It takes a different type of person to deal with all those personalities in one prison. You're right. Anthony Nelson says minimum custody is basically you are on your way out of prison. He says, if I did 10 years, I only get a $45 gate check and a bus ticket to a homeless shelter. Wow. 10 years in prison. 10 years. And you get a $45 check, a bus ticket to a homeless shelter. That's crazy. Now that's crazy right there. It says this is educational and scary at the same time. Oh yeah. Patrick T says DC jail is the worst jail in the country. Well, I don't hear much about DC jail. I hear about Rikers. People always hearing about Rikers. You know what I mean? Since back in the day. Now, I'm not saying DC jails are tough, but Rikers is terrible. Beho said jail is worse than prison. Really? You think that? All right, Beho said prison is more freedom on the yards. Jails you lack down most of the time. Oh, I guess you meant you lock down most of the time. Interesting. Jonah says first thing people think about when they hear prison is someone trying to put something. That's funny. Miss Joy says going to prison can save someone's life. Could be true. Could be true. Be holding a reference to Patrick T. This not your Trinity discussion. You said fall back. Oh man. All right. Dioki says you have to really find a source of joy in prison or depression will hit hard. Interesting. All right. B. Holder says those jail chaplains are of the devil. What up to Jay Williams? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Christopher Span says, I had no intentions of speaking on this topic today. I was going to be quiet as a church mouse. I just hope the information me and Jonah giving out helps someone. Wonderful. Appreciate that. You know what I mean? Maybe I could come on here and give y'all testimonies one day. Chop it up on the StreamYard about this. You know, if y'all want to. Heard Wise says some female prisoners get knocked up by male correctional officers. That's just trifling right there. That's trifling. Male correctional officers knocking up the female inmates. That's trifling and disgusting. You know what I mean? And it's vice versa too. You know? Listen, even if the male officer, even if he dated the female or knew her, you would risk your job? You would risk possibly getting some jail time for that? No way. All right, Beholder says, yeah, it's 2 days on, 2 days off, and every other weekend. Huh. 2 days on and 2 days off? Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. I know in Mecklenburg, I think boot camp is like 8 weeks. Jersey is 19 weeks because they classified as police officers. But I love truck driving, man. It's just less stress. Less stress. You know? Less stress in truck driving. But I still get my thoughts. All right, Tasha says every jail is the worst. The Yoki said no cell phones in the cell block as a CO, but no CO obeys that. Oh, okay. But I still wouldn't want to risk my job over, being on a cell phone. All right. Shelly House says there was a black man on AGT who served 35 years for a crime he didn't commit and won. Wow. Christopher Span says COs spend more time in jail prison than they do their own families. In fact, some COs do 48-hour marks at shifts. They literally do time with you. But of course, they get to go home. Well, are you saying that some COs love to stay there or love to, as far as like doing overtime? Because from what B. Holder said, he said 2 days on and 2 days off. But sometimes that money may be sounding too good that, they may want to take it. You know what I mean? But personally, if that takes care of the family, if that takes care of bills and stuff like that, sometimes it's hard to turn away. Sometimes it's hard. It could be some good money as far as like a CEO. I know they offering like bonuses now and stuff like that out here, but sometimes that money can get to them. You know what I mean? Let me know. What up to Raymond Collins? He says no jail and no prison is good. Miss George says, have y'all heard of Kingston Ave? I thought doing drugs in public was an instant arrest. Nah, the only Kingston Ave I heard is in Jersey City, New Jersey. But that's a nice area. Jonah says, I'm down for that. Wonderful. Sister Davis says, what I don't understand, not judging, but if prison is so bad, why do people do things to get back in there? Once they're freed from prison, must not be that bad for you. I understand, might be challenging. Jonah says, he said, had to leave the thermal on for this topic. I think they wear the thermals in prison, right? Or jail. What's up to Frozen Mountain? Shout out to you. Hope all is well at Frozen Mountain. All right, Cassie, you wrote Psalms 34 and 8. Appreciate that at Frozen Mountain. Frozen Mountain says, what are Christians going to jail for? We talked about that already. Yeah, we talked about it already, man. We got through that. We got through that already. But just in case you just now coming in here, I spoke about people that have, tickets from the past that you don't even know about. You might have been 18 years old and forgot you got a ticket somewhere. You know what I mean? You probably had to go to court that you forgot about. And some places here in the United States, some states may classify speeding as reckless driving. And it may be like what is that? A misdemeanor felony or something like that. Let me look that up right quick in North Carolina. Reckless driving. North Carolina. A class 2 misdemeanor. Penalties up to 60 days in jail. Up to 60 days in jail. Reckless driving, including speeding. Wow. It also states that, I wouldn't be worried about the fine and stuff like that. I'm worried about the jail time. 60 days in jail for speeding? That's crazy. Now that's crazy right there. Let me see. You said they also struggle with employment and housing. Shona says it's still odd being out, to be honest. Sometimes being in sounds better, oddly enough. B. Holder says I drive. B. Holder says I drive for my job position. I transport anywhere and see those inmates. Oh man. Oh man, that's cool. That's groovy. At B. Holy transportation. You know what I mean? Smooth. Sound like a smooth position, man. You know? Shout out to B. Holy, man, holding it down in that field. You know? Good brother. He said, do you ever stop at McDonald's or something? At B. Holy. Wow. So LGS says, moral of the story, make good choices and control your emotions. Is very simple. Christopher Span says, it's crazy how the world works. I remember my last bid. You said Carabelle, what is that? Carbella, the sheriff of the county institution, was in the front hall. As I was about to leave, she looked at me and said, you'll be back. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Frozen Mount says, some people that go back to jail don't know what to do with their lives. My brother's dad has been in and out of jail so many times. Terrible person. Christmas Span says, thermals will run you about $46.50. Wow. In jail? Must be a hot commodity in jail. This thing cost me about $5. I think at Walmart. $46 and some change for a thermal in prison, and you make $1 a day to the max? You got to work like 47 days in order to get a thermal? Wow. That's crazy. Now that's crazy. Right? Anthony Nelson says, we have come a long way as black people in our freedom, because when you commit unaliving, back in the day, they hung you, and for stealing, they cut off your hands. Miss Joyce says, I couldn't spend 6 hours in jail. Well, the only thing I was close to was spending time in a holding cell. I think I spent may have been 2 hours in the holding cell at the age of 16. Blessedly, my mother came and got me. Whew. Otherwise, I would have went to juvenile detention that day. Blessedly, she came and got me. Man. All right. Let me see what we at. You said in the tank. You said in the tank. Oh yeah. I wouldn't have liked that at all. Going to juvenile detention. No way. No way. No way at all, for sure.
The funeral, because at that time, a life prisoners, he can't go to the funeral because they rules and regulations. No, you can't go. You can't go. You're too dangerous. I'm saying I'm dangerous. This is my first crime ever. I understand this is the severe crime, murder, but I'm like, wow, they won't even let me go see my mother buried. Won't even let me look at her in the coffin. I'm like, wow. So when that passed, when she passed, my father became old. And your family start getting old. You start realizing, you start seeing nieces and nephews that you only knew through pictures. You really didn't know them. You know them through the visiting room, maybe if they take the time out to come see you. Because some family disown you. Because they say, wow, you did that. They disown you, not realizing at the end of the day, that's all you have is family. We're not going to see eye to eye on everything, but at the end of the day, we don't pick and choose our family. Our family is all we have, man. And you know, I say to myself, I said, wow, when they changed the law and I was able to be sentenced in front of Judge Catherine Streeter Jones, and when they brought me down to court, I was like, I didn't believe it, that it was happening, that I'm actually going home. I'm actually going to be re-sentenced. And so when they brought me down to prison, of course I couldn't eat nothing. My nerves was bad. I was shocked because I didn't believe that this was happening. And so when I got in front of Catherine Streeter Lewis, she sentenced me. She said, young man, you may approach the bench now. I'm going to re-sentence you. You know, she said, I'm going to sentence you to 35 years to life. And at that time, I had 35 years and my knees buckled. And all my family started crying in the court. And I said to myself, why is they doing that? They know I'm going to start crying. But it was tears of joy. But at the same time, it was tears of pain because I knew my victim. You know, it's not like I didn't know him. I knew him. Because like I told you, my family had a variety store. And they used to come in my store and stuff like that and shop and help, you know, my family. They, you know, help in the community. And I was like, wow. But anyway, I was resentenced.
Deep testimony. Right? What up to TNT? Shout out to you. You says, last bit I did, I still remember Officer Kurt pointing the blicky in my face. Before I got cuffed, the Lord is merciful. Wow. He said the blicky. This man said the blicky. Wow. Man from the West Coast using the word blicky. Shout out to TNT. You know? Trying to get these comments right. We get to these comments. Frozen Mind says some people you finish it off. It says terrible person, also a woman beater. For the last thing you said. My fault. I didn't read that part. That was my fault. All right. TNT says y'all don't know what BE looked like, but he the type of cop you would rather obey his commands. Shout out to B Holy. Miss Joy says, I feel like I have to behave now when B Holy's in the chat. That's funny. That's funny. That is funny. You know? Oh, man. Get to it. G Money says America's system is the harshest on crime in the world. Really? You think? You think that at G Money? He said there are some who deserve the punishment and treatment, but for the most part, there are those who don't. Most countries at least treat you humane, you wrote. All right. Sister David says, I know of someone that had a great testimony of being delivered from jail prison after he gave his life to Christ. He took in and was honest. He says God erased his sentence. Wow. Wow, that's good though. That's good because there's a lot of people out there who turn their life around. Right? But yet they have committed crimes in the past that they may have gotten away with. Now they want to get right. know what I mean? There's people out there who've committed unaliving. You know what I mean? And got right with Christ. It's like what that person's supposed to do. You know what I mean? But like you said, that testimony right there, exactly. I appreciate that at Drago. Appreciate that. You know what I mean? It's a good conversation. Hopefully we have a part 2 to this in due time, but we're going to make it more so with testimonies. Shelly House says, do prisoners get, oh, you talking about, what is that like? What is that, conjugal visits or something like that when you're married? You says, when they get married in jail. Those special visits. Wow. Ain't that something? Miss Joy says, someone said they actually projected out of prison. Well, there's some people who dabble in that type of stuff. I mean, their physical body can't astral project. Big time difference. You know, people can astral project, but not their physical body. You know? And who would, my thing is, who would want to astral project? Of course it's demonic. Of course you got a lot of satanic people in there who probably dabble in that type of stuff. As far as like astral projecting. They can astral project all they want. That physical body is still going to remain there. In jail or in prison. You know what I mean? Once again, astral projection is demonic. You know? And you know, people dabble in that type of stuff. No way. No way. No way at all. So, Be Holy, you answered Shelly House. You have conjugal visits. Conjugal visits. All right? Be Holy says, I always remember, don't believe nothing an inmate told you. Take it, I guess you mean take it from me? And he laughing. He said it actually projected out of prison. Wow.
And when I was resentenced to 35 years of life, I said, wow, I'm actually going home. And when I was coming back to Greatersport, SCI Greatersport, I didn't believe it. I was just sitting there van crying. I said, wow, I'm going home and sit down and have dinner with my family. You know, having face-to-face talk with my family. I'm going to have dinner. I said, I'm going to see the refrigerator open up again. The light turn white, a light come on. And so them things happen. But fast forward now about 15 months.
Wow.
And every day is a challenge, meaning that it's a challenge for me because when I come out my lawn and I look, I say I'm actually free. I really don't believe it sometimes.
Right? B. Holder says, I know this for a fact. Those inmates are very talented. For sure. Drago said, that'll be a good one. Brother Jonah, Christopher Span, testimonies, and B. Holy. Sheriff. Oh yeah. If they up for it, you know, we could set that up. And that'd definitely be a good video. You know what I mean? All right. Appreciate that at Her Wise. I appreciate that. Miss Joy says, I learned a lot tonight. Good talking with you all. Good night. For sure. You know what I mean? We're looking forward to having more conversations like this. Like I said, for the most part, I want the next video. I would hope the next video like this be like, you know, testimonies from the brothers, in general. You know.
I said, I'm actually free, you know, and then to purchase a phone and have money in my pocket, you know, because being incarcerated, you can't have money in your pocket, 'cause that's contraband. And they took all our street clothes because all of us wore browns. So I was like, wow, I got street clothes. I could go to the store and buy a piece of cake. I could go to the store and get me a Mountain Dew soda. I could go and get me a Welch's grape soda. You know, I still didn't believe it. I used to get at the counter at the store sometime and get stuck. And they'd be like, sir. I'd be like, oh. And dig in my pocket and pull out a $5 bill. And then a few times I'd forget my change. Because incarcerated, everything when you go to the store is by a paper that you just fill out. And so a few times I forgot my, you know, change. The lady or sir called me back, sir, your change. Oh, okay. And I was like, wow. But I knew in coming home, I knew it was going to be a challenge for me. So I went to the halfway house, which is down 8th and Callahill. And I'll never forget, I used to go to Burger King. And just so I can get readjusted to dealing with everyday people. You know, seeing how people say thank you and no thank you. And what was something to me, how it seemed like, I don't know everybody, but it seemed like people is just so angry. I understand people been through things in life, but I said, wow, why are these people so angry? If they only knew, you know, the things they take for granted.
Wow. All right. Jonah says you can get that at commissary though. You also state that who's making cakes on the deck? He says, where they at? Cakes. I've watched those videos as far as like, you know, how they make certain things in prison and whatnot. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Now I wouldn't even eat that food, whatever the case may be. But it's very interesting that them fellas got creative minds like that to make certain meals for what they have. All right? Oodles and noodles and Doritos and tuna fish. What is that? They put in the bag and water and smash it and all that other stuff. I'm like, what? Put it on a sandwich. Put it by the heater to heat it up. Huh? What is that? They have a honey bun with peanut butter. Put it on a sandwich. What? Wow. Wow. Let's go to a video. Let's see. Prison food. Making prison food. Let's see if we could making prison meals. Let's see what they got up here. A jailhouse apple pie. The best prison brick you will ever eat. A prison brick. So this person got some oodles and noodles, chicken flavor, smashing the bag up. Then he's putting it in some flaming hot Cheetos bag. Then he's putting the chicken flavor salt seasoning inside the bag. He got 2 Slim Jims. Then he's cutting it with like a cardboard or something. Put it in the bag. Got some cheese dip, tortilla. Put it in the bag with some water. Wow. That's crazy, man. Ilk. That just looked disgusting, honestly, man. That looked disgusting. that looked disgusting. That looks disgusting for sure. You know? Let me see if there's another one. Then we're going to go to the comments. Ouch. That's like pure high blood pressure right there. Pure. All right? What is this? What is he making? I can't really see what he's making. This is Khalid Muscle. He got some type of oodles and noodles. I don't know, what is that? Olive oil? Olives? He's putting in the bag. What's up with these what's up with these Cheetos? Cheetos and oodles and noodles. What's up with that? He's putting mayonnaise in the bag. Ugh. Disgusting. Relish. Mustard. And he's smashing it up. And he put honey on it. Oh, that's disgusting, man. That is disgusting. That look like pickles. He's putting it on it. Nah, man, that's just terrible, man. Honestly, I'm gonna stop the video, man. What's up, the Valid? Shout out to you. He said most talented people are in jail. Jonah said some people I knew did it decent though. B Holder says it's called swole. Jonah says let that noodle blow up. What's up to Eugene? Everyone who hasn't received Jesus the Christ as their Lord and Savior is living in the prison of sin. We're talking about physical prison right now. Christopher Span says spare ribs, summer sausage with red Kool-Aid, put it in the mic, and you got spare ribs. Oh my goodness. That's a stomach ache for me. B. Holder says people say milk for days without fridge. Oh man. Horrible. Shelly House says, I like those Scared Straight programs because some of those kids think they are bad until they get in there. Then it's mommy. They want, I guess you meant. Jonah said, one of those big boy burritos. Wow. Christopher Span says, I'm overdoing it now. He didn't just search prison meals. Jonah says, it's still not the same. Not hearing a noodle pack getting smacked on the ground. Wow. Summer Gabriel said, those prison spreads be nice. I got hungry one day and made one. I made nachos. Ugh. Disgusting. Honestly, when I looked at it. All right, if you got any last closing remarks, feel free to leave it in the chat room so we can wrap this thing up. It was a good conversation for sure. We're looking forward to having more of these conversations, more testimonies if brothers want to come on the StreamYard and talk about their testimony in reference to prison or if you work in that field. You know, I definitely appreciate y'all for coming on here on the check-in, chopping it up, and I hope everybody have a wonderful night and a wonderful evening for sure. All right? Jonah says, I had a guy that made an amazing barbecue calzones, though. Wow. Wow. He says, I'm going to need to take that chicken back to the house. Wow. You know what I mean? Right? It's about that time. We're going to close it out. Good night to everybody. I hope nobody get the itch to make a prison meal. Ramen noodles and tuna and Cheetos and all that. But I hope everybody have a blessed night. Lord willing, we'll be on tomorrow with some more conversation or a recap video. You know what I mean? Or a recap video of Gino. He said you got a rice bag. Oh yeah, we got some rice in here, but I ain't making no prison meals here. No way. No way. You understand? So God bless everybody out there. I'm Tony Harvin signing off. May you all have a wonderful night. I'm out. Peace.